Hey everyone, this is Soul with another video. So today the first of the 3 animated shorts entitled Warbringers is coming out, and we're kicking it off with Jaina Proudmoore. We're going to do a kind of reaction slash analysis slash breakdown of everything that's going on from scene to scene. Because these reactions are a little bit fresh, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to have inaccurate information or any other interpretations that you might have. If you haven't taken a look at the animated short, I advise you to do so right now. Go away, take a look at it. I'm going to have a link to it below. Once you look at it, come back. But anyway, let's get started. It's a gloomy day over in Theramore, although it's always gloomy in Theramore considering everyone's dead. Jaina Proudmoore is here, presumably mourning them with some makeshift monument in the form of all these swords that she has somehow found. It's actually a little bit hard to say whether or not those swords were put there before. Anyway, she starts to hum a tune, a shanty even. This sea shanty is called Daughter of the Sea, and it's about her. Of course, it wasn't written by her. It doesn't write Jaina in a very good light at all, having betrayed her father, letting him get killed, and basically ruining her family. This is one of many instances of self-deprecation on part of Jaina that we've been kind of seeing that Blizzard has been trying to paint a picture of, but the fact that she's singing basically her own diss track is pretty telling. I'm presuming here, again, most of this is coming off kind of the top of my head, but I believe that necklace or medallion is a sign of leadership within Kul'Tiras. Maybe Jaina put it there just now so she can stare at it and feel bad about herself. Maybe at one point she took this from her father's body, and then put this here on this makeshift monument. At any rate, she takes it, and she's about to embark on her own little introspective adventure, and a literal adventure too. If you haven't thought of it already, I'm pretty sure that this particular animation takes place right after the Jaina comic that we've seen a couple of weeks ago.
Beware, I heard him cry.
You know, she's not a bad singer. She approaches the dock, and she's no longer alone. A ferryman is there, and it's a little bit vague to tell whether or not there is actually someone there, or if this is some sort of metaphor. Maybe this is kind of her imagination running wild, but much like those mythical ferrymen that take you, like, let's say, across the river Styx, she pays a toll, and in this case, she gives the medallion away. So as it turns out, we're not looking at the aftermath of Teldrassil, we're looking at the far, far aftermath of Theramore. We see spirit-like things, but not necessarily wisps, but somehow we're still seeing relatively fresh bodies. Now I'm pretty sure that this scene doesn't take place in the past. This is more or less the present, post-Legion, right before the battle for Azeroth. It's just kind of weird that we're still seeing bodies that otherwise would have deteriorated in the water by now. What makes this interesting is that it's a little bit hard to tell if this is the ruins of Theramore that we're going through at this point, or if this is the wreckage of the fleet that Admiral Proudmoore had commanded, and this was years ago before the World of Warcraft. It makes you think these are a lot of ships that have been here for a very long time. You would have thought that this would have been cleaned up by now, and we still don't yet quite understand the purpose behind this journey, other than some introspection or self-pity. This shanty extends throughout the entire animation. Blizzard is really stressing the point that there is a lot of guilt that Jaina is carrying on her shoulders. And by the way, the lyrics are also in the description below. I'm not quite sure what the spirit is saying. I couldn't figure it out, and if you guys can help me out, then I would really appreciate it. This might be the kind of spirit of Admiral Proudmoore's ship, seeing the spirits going around and materializing into something, but at the same time we're kind of looking at an artsy flashback for the viewer. Super evil orcs and trolls. Ooh, those bad guys. For those who don't recall, at the end of the events of Warcraft 3 and before the World of Warcraft itself, there's a lot of intense fighting between the orcs and the Kul'Tiran fleet, but we don't see Rexxar, unfortunately. Just this guy, presumably Jaina Proudmoore, stabbed from behind as if to display that even at his death, he was killed in a dishonorable way by those evil, nasty Horde people, even though I don't think they called themselves the Horde yet, but, you know, details. But maybe the whole stabbing in the back is another jab at Jaina. She metaphorically stabbed her own father in the back, betraying him because she disagreed and relied on hope that there was a better way. If this is what goes on in this girl's head all the time, I'm not surprised that she's been flipping out and that her hair turned white. I'm pretty sure the white hair had something to do with the Tides of War book that Jaina Proudmoore was in, but after seeing this short a number of times, she's just gotta be stressed now. She's really gotta talk to someone. She's sitting there with all this self-pity, the weight of all these dead people around her from Theramore Part 1 and Part 2, humming a shanty about people that hate you. It's only a matter of time until you really snap, and Jaina has kind of snapped a number of times already. And so she does, she becomes the Lich King. I'm just kidding, she doesn't become the Lich King. It'd be cool though. Damn. I do wonder though, just why is she raising this ship? And you know, it's in pretty good shape after this many years. Finally though, we get to what may be the poignant part of this animation. She says that she's listening now, without quite saying what it is she's listening to. Is it the lyrics from the shanty? Is it the realization that this is all her fault, and that the ball is now in her court, as if it's time for her to take some real action? I don't know, because the last time she was going to send what I believe a tidal wave into Orgrimmar. But here comes the big reveal, that the ferryman is in fact Jaina Proudmoore himself, or at least it's the figure in her head. He fades away, medallion and all, and now she starts singing her own shanty.
Beware of me.
Ooh, chilling. I told you she was gonna look like a badass. So where does this actually leave us? She's alone, she's on a boat, she learned earlier in the comic that the Horde are probably up to no good, and she's somewhere in Theramore. The next time we expect to see her won't be until the Battle for Lordaeron, which is a number of weeks from now. So I'm speculating that the awesome cutscene that we're going to see is Jaina coming in on this, ghostly ship. She's gonna make a pretty sweet entrance and otherwise help save the day. It would be way cooler if she got that ship to somehow fly and just crash into the Undercity's walls, but we didn't quite see that sort of effect when we were playing through the Battle for Lordaeron scenario in the beta, so spoiler alert there. And that pretty much wraps it up. There isn't a whole lot of hidden meaning to be found here. The only bit of mystery was involving the ferryman. We know that was Jaina Proudmoore, but we don't know if that was literally him, or if this was just a figment of Jaina's self-pitying imagination. But what did you think? It wasn't very action-y, but it was very sober, melancholy. And if anything, it brings home the torment of what Jaina's been living with. I actually would have liked it if there was a bit more to highlight Jaina's guilt. There's obviously a lot on her mind with regards to the bombing of Theramore, of betraying her father. But I also think it would have been cool to see some of her torment regarding Arthas and how maybe she could have saved him if she was there for him or if she stuck by his side. But I think the point of this animation was to highlight Jaina's guilt and put that parallel with her animosity towards the Horde, and the stuff going on with Arthas doesn't quite mesh with that, but it doesn't cover Jaina's full torment, as in covering all the things that she would've, could've, or should've done. So that's going to be it from me, but I would love to hear your thoughts about this short in a comment below. And for more coverage of the Warbringers series and all things Warcraft, please subscribe or support the channel the best way you know how. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.